Good evening. How we are? We're live. The Late Smoke with Ray, episode 16. And yeah, first of all, apologies about the slight delay. Okay, my camera is a little bit off. Yeah. Um, yeah, sorry about the delay, but I was literally having such a crazy day. I barely managed to go home 7 minutes ago. Um, Sometimes not everything is on plan. We always have one of those days where nothing is on plan. But yeah, all the issues were sorted. I'm back home now and I'm ready to live. I almost planning to do the live from a different location because I wasn't sure how long I will be there. But at the end of the day, everything is back to normal. Slight delay. I hope you realize I changed the time on the screen so people in the stream so people will not wonder what's happening. I move it to quarter past. So yeah, I mean, yeah, not gonna go much in details, but appreciating that you're joining. There's already a few people. I even didn't have the time to light my cigar before that, so I'm gonna cut it and light it now. I'm using just a knife because I can't be bothered going looking for the cutters. This is a cutter anyway. No time for tea, so I'm drinking a latte. I haven't drank coffee in about 4 months, 5 months. This is the first piece of coffee I have in 5 months. So, but yeah, this is literally cold latte. I have a bunch of those cold lattes for emergency situations usually. So, there's lots of interesting stuff I want to talk about tonight. Maybe people wonder what I'm smoking. I'm smoking. Let me see if that can come to the camera. It's too blurry, of course. The cigar is called Amendola Cremoso. Yeah, it's not going to be on focus. I'm sorry about that. Amendola Cremoso, size is Toro. So, what I can say about the cigar Amendola is one of those boutique brands. They start many years ago, but they hasn't been in the cigar industry. They start making proper cigars. I don't know, 5 years ago probably, with different factories in Honduras. In some moment, they moved to Nicaragua. They used a few different factories for their blend. So this specific one, the Cremoso, which is Connecticut, is made by Aganorsa. So Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper, Nicaraguan fuel, Nicaraguan binders, lots of Corojo, I expect. I don't remember I smoked this one before, so I think it might be a new cigar for me. I smoked quite a few from Amendola, but I expect to be quite mild. I smoke two nice cigars today already, so now it's time to relax and chat with something more chattable. If you can excuse me, I'm gonna lit it. I'm gonna lit now, and then we're gonna move to the chat. What's everyone smoking, drinking? Weather is start getting better and better. No, it's not that freezing in UK anymore. It's already about 5 degrees outside, so not on the minus. That would be a lot of smoke in this cigar. Usually Connecticut does not burn that way, but right. Before we move to the ongoing topic, which has been already a few episodes with the top 25s, that will be the topic today as well. I want to say there's a few interesting news already. First week of the year, as I mentioned last week, there was nothing happening, but now people start waking up and start throwing up lots of interesting news and stuff. Someone smoking great smoke Nicaragua Antonio. Is that the Antonio 1970 or the CT? I smoked the CT a few days ago. 1970, I haven't smoked them in ages. It's one of the very good Joyas, quite strong, but Buffalo 10 Natural. Absolutely agree with you. Haha, nah. I like the name. Beautiful cigar, especially not on the expensive one. It's a very flat box press. El Artista is one of my favorite Dominican brands. I love El Artista. I have the honor to know very well Radames from El Artista. I spent a few days with him not long ago. Great character, making great cigars. So, beautiful cigar. Partagas Maduro 3. Can't comment on that another. I'm not a big fan of Partagas. I don't think I smoked the Maduro 3. Is the Maduro 3 the short? No, Maduro 3 is the longer one. I haven't smoked Maduro 3. Someone saying, beautiful day at 27 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing. No idea what's 27 Fahrenheit. I reckon it's minus Celsius. So, yeah. Dexter is on 1970. That's the Joya Nicaragua. Nice punchy kicking cigar. I think that's one of those underdog cigars or sleeper cigars where you see it on the shelf, you don't think it's a strong cigar. You start smoking it and you realize it's a mistake, unless you like strong cigars. CEO Amazon Basin. This cigar is actually lots of discussion recently. Some people said it's the new releases are not good, the old ones are not. I even read how full they put it. They mention it as one of the exceptional cigars they smoked last year. I think it's a good cigar. Before I move to the news, I forgot to mention something, and this is something which started yesterday. I mean, not start, but came back yesterday. I don't know if you follow me in the social media, in Instagram specifically. I announced I'm back doing lives with my dear old friend Usman from Cigar Rants, what we used to be. Now it's Cigar Inspector. Of course, he joined the Cigar Inspector team, and he's the chief editor there. We went back in the time, I think 4 or 5 years ago, we started doing something. We were Cigar Rants, we were ranting, we were throwing stuff out there. Some people doesn't like us, some people like us. The project stopped in some moment because we changed jobs, and there wasn't a perfect time. Maybe we were a little bit used. I don't know, the vibe wasn't there, so we stopped. We still see each other quite often, and we always have the idea to restore back the original podcast with talking non-stop different stuff. Finally, we find a solution, and for now, the schedule on that live together will be looking every Sunday in my Instagram and in his Instagram. It's Cigar Rants, Cigar Inspector. We're gonna do casual chat, not much of a topic. We're just gonna discuss predominantly Cuban versus non-Cuban cigars. We're gonna rant on those stuff. We're gonna rant on what people are saying. Roughly an hour. It will start around 6:30, usually 8 o'clock. So it's it will be a casual, and in the meantime, we're gonna do a live session in his YouTube in Cigar Rants, in Cigar Inspector. One Tuesday of the month, we're gonna announce it. We'll try to announce it in advance when he's free, because he starts traveling quite more. I'm busy as well, but we're gonna do one live from his in his YouTube when will be a proper topics. We're going to discuss with depth some of the topics and ideas we have. So he will propose a topic, I'm going to propose a topic. So we're both going to talk about the topic on the other guy. And we're going to throw it live. And also I'm going to take it after that and throw it in my channel, record it. Of course, it won't be live because we still need to figure out. I mean, we can do live both channels, but we're going to lose the nice quality of the cameras. So that's why we're going to film with proper setup with 2 cameras as before in his channel, and then we're going to throw it in my channel after that. Someone liked the episode with Gurkha. Hey, I mean, this was still fun for me. Again, I don't mind smoking Gurkha to trying Gurkha. I still hasn't found the Gurkha which I enjoy and I want to smoke again. So Usman is completely opposite. He will not touch Gurkha. I don't know what needs to happen for this guy to smoke a Gurkha. Even on a blind, he doesn't smoke cigars. I offered him a few times to do a blind smoking. He's not a fan of that one. But yeah, he's a different type of guy. But yeah, it's a cool guy. I love him. So yeah, that was the little announcement. So you're gonna see more of me on the lives. I'm gonna do lives in Sunday now with him. We did one yesterday. We probably will try to do one next week. I don't know if because he's going to Italy, so I'm not sure if he will be back from Italy on time, but we'll see. Right, that was my little introduction. Let's move on and go to the topics I want to talk about. So, of course, usually when I'm talking about release, it will be something which I'm gonna rant probably a little bit, unless it's something exceptional. But even if exceptional cigars, I don't actually talk about them because I haven't smoked them yet, unless I smoke them, but that's very unlikely. That's why I'm gonna talk about first interesting release I've seen. Davidoff announced a few days ago they will release 16 exclusive limited editions for 2025 on a site from their regular limited edition. Those are just original original limited editions. 16. So for different countries, I mean, they mentioned stuff like China, Cyprus, Greece, Romania, etc., etc. There's Korea, Germany, duty free, exclusive shops, JJ Fox in Ireland. If someone is in Ireland, lots of stuff on, I mean, if people in America, they're gonna release a special edition for Sherman Oaks in California, San Antonio, Club Humidor in San Antonio in Texas, Humidor of Westmont. There's a bunch of them. I mean, if someone is interested, I can tell them exact all the list and all the stuff. Between 300 and 1,000 boxes of each release. Exactly the same blend. Fairly mild looking cigar from the look. Ecuadorian tobacco, Dominican tobaccos, size is 5.5, 55. But what's my problem there? So Davidoff, very clever players in the marketing game. They create something which Cuba, they follow the Cuban basically project and ideas with the originals and creating originals. So actually the people who follow the brand, love the brand, they will start collecting them. That means if someone is massive fan of Davidoff, he will spend so much extra money to find some of those originals, or maybe send his friends around so they can find him that limited original edition. So in this way, they create an even more hype. Clever idea. The thing is, it's not even different cigar. At least Cuba, they release different cigars, different sizes, make it more interesting. Davidoff will just release the same cigar with a different second band. Maybe the boxes, all the boxes will be 10 count, so I reckon the boxes will be the same, just a slight lid on the top will be different. Yeah, a bit of a pointless for me. They already released publicly the first proper limited edition. That's the Winston Churchill Limitada 2025, I think, which is a Churchill size. Usman was actually on the presentation in UK last week. He's smoking and he said it's actually quite a good cigar. But price-wise, we're looking for a 70 pound a piece. Maybe even more. I still don't have them in the shop. So that would be usually no-go for me. Unless Davidoff for that kind, then maybe give me one to smoke, but I doubt. I'm no one in the industry that big, so they cannot do it just because it's me. But yeah, that was my little rant about the Davidoff, as usual. Let me know what you're thinking. I mean, is any of you massive Davidoff fan here, which will try to collect them all? I think they did something similar a few years ago with the different regional editions. There were something like 20 different countries. We have even the UK one, which was specially made for the company I'm working for. Which, by the way, it's a really, really nice cigar. I don't know if you people smoke the Davidoff Orchard selection. They did Lancero and Toro. Lancero is long gone, no chance finding it. But the Toro, I still even have some in my shop. I don't understand why people does not buy that cigar. It's about 40 pound, 37, 40 pound cigar, and it's one of the best Davidoffs on the market. It's very similar to Millennium Line. So if you guys in UK or if you travel, if you go to any of the cigars places, I'm pretty sure all of them have the Davidoff Orchard section still for sale. I would highly recommend it. It's probably the cheapest Davidoff in this size at the moment. It's a Toro 652, I believe, or something like that. Definitely try them. Yeah, I've seen you guys start already commenting on the thing. Lazy move. I don't know if it's a lazy move. It's just smart marketing move. I mean, how many countries move into the regionals as a market? Drew Estate did it with the international, non-international market. Obviously, Habanos Fuente did it with the crazy Opus in Dubai, now released in the US as well. Lots of brands trying this idea with the international markets. Tatuaje did a specially released Italian cigar. And I'll give you something new, which I believe most of you do not know yet, maybe none of you. Tatuaje actually will release soon a British edition, specially made for the British market. I can't say more, but bear with me. I would say next 6 months, maybe just after the next 6 months, they're gonna have a limited edition made for the British market. How cool is that? Yeah, someone Nader mentioned the AVO policy is not working very well. It's working very well. Well, AVO it's a brand which people does not respect enough, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of AVO. I even prefer AVO than Camacho and most of the Davidoffs. But unfortunately, Davidoff put it a little bit on the side. They don't release anything interesting. By the way, the last year, what was the improvisation or the new release from Davidoff last year, the limited edition for AVO, was a really nice cigar, under 30 pounds in UK, a big size. It's like a slim Toro Lonsdale. Beautiful cigar. I did already 2 events with that. Everyone was so happy. It's one of the few events where actually people buy boxes from this cigar, which is cool. What else? So many companies in 2023, 2024 producing ridiculous price cigars. Of course, we talk about that. Marketing designed to chase. Yeah. Interesting what happened in the market, the copy, the Cuban and vice versa. I mean, if Cuba make a profit of 700 million last year, of course everyone wants to chase. That means that the model is successful. How many of the companies will succeed as a Cuba is another question, but why not? Why not to give it a try? So that's my 2 cents on the Davidoff thing. By the way, I think someone sent me a message in Instagram. I forgot. I think it was Nader. If I'm wrong, I apologize. He asked me to explain how I rate my cigars exactly to put the number 1 and 2. I'm gonna explain this at the end when on the show when I finish the topic, and I'm gonna explain you again how I did that. But if the guy is in the chat, just remind me exactly what was the question, because I didn't have the time to look at it again. I was planning before the live, completely forgot because I was in a rush. But yeah, I will answer happily. Right, move on. Next one on the news section. We're moving now to south of the Florida. We're moving to the Cuban island of Cuba. That's so cool. Why they don't call it Isle of Cuba, Island of Cuba, instead of Cuba? I mean, I don't know. Sounds fun. So Cuba throws some interesting. We talk about this. We discussed this one with Usman yesterday. They allow foreign company to grow rice in Pinar del Rio. That was I mean, for me, it was a fun news. It wasn't something which is worrying me, but we make a few good points yesterday. So they allow Vietnamese company to grow rice in China, in Cuba. But it's a weird thing. So first of all, why Vietnam? I mean, I think Vietnam is one of the biggest growers in rice anyway. The country is probably 90% full with rice. All the fields are full of rice. I don't think they need more rice. And also, if you need rice, are there no neighborhood countries where you can get it? Or you need to go half of the world to fly half of the world to go to Cuba and grow it in Cuba. I mean, even if it's ridiculously cheap to grow it in Cuba, then transport it to Vietnam will be ridiculously expensive. And I think everyone throw it as a news just because they mentioned the region Pinar del Rio. If people are not familiar, Pinar del Rio is basically the region where all the good Habanos cigars are grown there. Tobacco is grown there. Cuba grow lots of tobacco in different regions, but usually for Habanos, they use Pinar del Rio region. So I don't think, Cuba is a big country. Even if it looks like a small island, it's still a big country. And I don't think that will cause an issue for the cigars. They need to refresh the soil. I don't know how good is the rice to refresh the soil. Even if it's not good, there's still plenty of field and lands around there, so they can grow tobacco if they want. I think this is just to maybe relax them a little bit with some of the sanctions. They be able to export stuff or whatever. I mean, US will not gonna buy rice from there anyway, but maybe Vietnam buy, some other countries will buy. Who knows? But it's a bit of a skeptical thing. I mean, how serious they sound? You know, Vietnam buying rice from Cuba or grow rice in Cuba and send it back to their country. Probably they do it in different regions. Nobody mentioned it because it's not related to cigars. Now it's Pinardero and yeah, look. Right. I think I'll start talking a little bit faster today. I don't know why. I was just chasing the last few hours with Russian, and now I'm talking faster. I'm not that relaxed. This is a very smoky cigar. It's very mild. One of those Connecticut where it's zero strength. What I'm smoking Amendola Cremoso. Yeah, it's one of those very small boutique brands where I discovered a few years ago. I bought a bunch of stuff and I haven't repeated. To be honest, I don't think Amendola is one of those brands where definitely I need to chase them unless they release something which may be different and maybe more interesting. We are on the Cuban topic. I'm gonna stay a little bit on the Cuban topic because the next news and the last news for today will be related to the Cuban cigar prices. They mentioned the increase already this year, 2025. I mean, there was nothing surprised here. We all know Cuba will increase the prices. We wasn't sure how much. The increase is, 5, 6, 10%, 12%. With one exception, the Diplomatico line will be increased with about 25%, which is, it's only one cigar realistically. I mean, Diplomatico at the moment is only Diplomatico number 2 from the core line, and of course lots of originals. This is one of the very popular brand for originals on Habanos. But the Habanos usually there's no fixed price on the original, so whoever the country decide they release them, they want weird prices. So we're not mentioning there. So basically the whole portfolio will go up 5-6%. The prices they mentioned are the Tabacalera in Spain. Of course, if you are like me in England or if you're in Ireland, Australia, Canada, the prices will be very different. Even if they raise, let's say they put the prices up like 10%, 10% on our prices will be different figures than 10% in the Spanish prices, unfortunately. But the more they raise them, the less I smoke them. So at least they will have more cigars from me because I won't smoke that much from their stuff. I don't know about you guys. Where would I say the best prices in Europe to go and buy cigars? I've seen Geneva, Krakow mention. Okay, the best prices to buy cigars. Cubans, I would say Spain. Gibraltar is a good one. Andorra and Gibraltar, because they don't have taxes, I think they will be the cheapest one. Andorran cigars are also Hunters and Frankel distribute, so if you like the H&S stamp, EMS stamp, they will be the same in Gibraltar. Andorra, I think, is different distribution. Very cheap cigars on the Balkans, especially Bulgaria, Romania, on the Cuban side. Non-Cubans, I would probably say Germany is one of the best markets because they have lots of different cigars. Prices are not crazy there. Spain, they don't have that availability. I don't think Spain is the cheapest for non-Cubans. I honestly haven't bought almost anything. I mean, I've not been in Spain for like 5 years, and I'm not sure to compare. Back in the time I didn't follow that much the pricing, so maybe if I go to Spain, so many times soon I can compare and I can tell. But Non-Cubans, Netherlands, Germany, Netherlands, Hungary is a good one as well. I mean, Balkans as well. Bulgaria have a massive, massive import of non-Cuban cigars in the last couple of years. So many brands. I'm pretty sure someone of the chat is probably from Bulgaria. So many new brands, boutique brands, which I haven't seen in anyone else in Europe. Someone mentioned box of 5 Robusto Connecticut Brick House in Gibraltar is £18. Well, in UK, one cigar is £18, so figure out. Okay, I think those were the news. Before I move to the two top awarded cigars I want to talk about, let me answer to Nadir because I will forget later and I need to dig in the chat. He asked me basically what are my standards, how I rate it. Okay, so first of all, every cigar I smoke, I put a note. I score them 1 till 10. I don't use any other numbers. I use 1 till 10. Like 1 is the worst, 10 is the best. Even if I'm out on a herf or anything, I just on my phone just make a note. You know, I have a picture. I always make a picture on the cigar, even for myself. Even you see some of the pictures I post in Instagram when I was doing top 25. Some of them are just pictured for myself because I am not prepared to do a fancy picture. It's just for my catalog, and I add the picture into my spreadsheet if I need. Also to remember where I smoke it, I see the date and stuff like that. So every cigar, it's 1 till 10. Enter the year, I look at all the 10s. For example, last year before, I didn't have 25 10s. There were only 17. But last year, there were more than 25. What I did from those over 25 10s, I look at all the pictures, look at all the cigars. I also separate to be one from a brand, because there was a brand which I have 3 or 4 10s. I mean, like Black Label to Tuaje. I already mentioned that last week. So from those which I separate and whatever left there, I will start choosing the 25. As well, in those 25, if they're more than 25, I look also whether they smoke it, how enjoyable was the thing. Because sometimes I know you can smoke the cigar by himself, no one around you, and you still enjoy it. But sometimes you smoke it with a producer or in a farm or something like that, and you enjoy it more because the whole situation. I believe the smoking is like a ritual. Maybe not all of us are always sitting in the nice cozy lounge, leather chairs, whatever. Sometimes it's just outside. I love walking and smoking. For me, it's the best thing to clear my mind. I did that as a ritual probably the last 7, 8, 9 years. I hasn't missed a Sunday, unless I'm not home, of course. But if I'm at home, it doesn't matter how late I'm going Saturday to bed or anything. Sunday, for me, it's wake up at 6 or 6:30, get a cigar, and walk in the village and smoke the cigar. I walk for 2 hours. Doesn't matter how cold. The only problem if it's massively rainy. If it's slightly rainy, I get the umbrella and I still walk. I don't have a dog, so I don't walk the dog. But I love walking and smoking, especially in the cold weather. It's so refreshing. My palate, my mind, just quiet. Maybe sometimes put some headphones, put some music, very slow type music, just to relaxing. But yeah, I love it. So for me, smoking it's like a ritual. It doesn't matter what your ritual. It can be, again, smoking outside, inside, situation, what cigars, I don't care. So 2 years ago when I started doing that ranking, the best cigar for me was Padron 50th Maduro. And I choose it to be best from those 16, 17, 10 out of 10 because I smoked this cigar in the Padron factory in the fields with Jorge Padron. And yeah, the cigar was 10 out of 10, but what adding to that to be the best is just literally this experience, which I might never experience again. You know, smoking with Jorge Padron, sitting next to him, chatting about cigars, not only telling him, oh, it's a good cigar. No, we're talking actually for different stuff, fermentation. I remember most of the conversation with him. And in the meantime, smoking this cigar, and I can't believe how good is this cigar because I've never smoked it before. And this for me was exceptional. So this year, as I mentioned last week, I choose 3 cigars for top to be as I mentioned, the top 3. All of them deserve to be the best. Why did I choose the Black Label? instead of the Aladino and what was the other one? Uh, what was my number two? Rojas. So Aladino, Rojas, and the Black Label were the three phenomenal cigars. They were 10 out of 10 with lots of others, but those three were standing out because of the situation I smoke it. I smoke all three with the brand owners. And I smoked the Fuma Noche with Vivi from Aladino. I smoked the Noel with Noel Rojas, the Rojas tent in Dortmund, and I smoked the Black Label with James Brown and Angela Brown in Dortmund. And the fact I'm smoking with the guy who made the cigar, and I can ask questions about why this is tastes like that. Why do you use this one? What's going to happen if you use this wrapper and this binder and this filler? Managing to ask him those questions and understand more about the blend, understand more about the cigar, for me I don't know, unreplaceable experience. And obviously, if the cigar tastes nice, because I smoked cigars with last year with lots of producers, some of the cigars doesn't go to 10 out of 10, so they're not they're not out there. I'm honest. It's if it's like crap cigar. I smoked cigar with Rick Rodriguez. Rick Rodriguez is the guy behind West Tampa, and I told him literally 5 minutes after I started smoking, saying, "Look, Rick, this cigar is not good. There's a problem. Um, carry on smoking the cigar." He realizes the issue, and I say, "Look, it's not. I don't want to dunk on you, but I'm honest with you. There's a problem. Better investigate, see what's the issue, because it can happen to someone else. For me, I'm not gonna start talking about it, but I'm just telling you as a friend." So he take the cigar from me. He cut inch of the top, and he tried to smoke it just to see as well what's the issue. And then he realized what's the issue. He called the factory. I was there. He called the factory in Nicaragua and started talking with the guys. Well, to investigate what's happened because this is a cigar given to me from him, so he know what batch from where it was taken, and he started telling them how to fix that issue. So I don't know. I hope it's clear for Nader how I choose the top three. Is the whole situation, the whole scenario, the whole ritual with how I'm sitting, with who, what's the situation, what we're talking about. That's how I choose the three best cigars this year for me. The rest, not they're much worse, but just the overall experience, maybe slightly less. I mean, maybe if I try to make a more complicated way of choosing cigars, I can do maybe adding different points and scoring system and adding points, but that means I'm gonna spend so much time scoring cigars instead of enjoying them. So I don't want getting a spreadsheet for every cigar and just sticking flavors, aromas, strength, burn every third, that kind of stuff. I do that for cigar journal and cigar sense. I do plenty of blind tasting, and yeah, if the cigar is 10 out of 10 on the blind tasting, I will include it as well. I think this year was only one cigar 10 out of 10 in the blind tasting, or two. Um, they were in top 25 anyway, but not as a number one, two, and three, because I was missing literally this thing, to be with the guy who made it. I don't say it's right or wrong. This is my way, and I mean, few years ago, 5 years ago, I wasn't in the industry. I was just a fan, a guy, a geek, a nerd who liked to smoke and liked to know more about it. I've always been that kind of curious guy, full of curiosities and everything. And once I get into the cigars, I want to know more. And I could only imagine be with smoking with some of those guys. And now when I know more of them, most of them met most of them, smoke with most of them, I can actually, you know, still be the fanboy, but I can put it in my way when I'm smoking cigars and say, okay, I'm a fanboy. Let me smoke with this guy and see if the cigars are good as I expect. And if they're good, I mean they're good. If they're not, nothing I can do to help that. Right. This was the side thing of the question. I'm always happy to answer the questions if you have questions, guys. Of course. So sorry about that. If someone heard the same story last week, I apologize again. But this show is all about you guys. So if you have any inquiries, any questions, please ask me, and I'll be more than happy. No, there are trust everything I do. Well, thank you for that trust. I hope I don't disappoint. Again, it's for me. It's fun. I love talking with people. I like to share my knowledge and my information. Sometimes I ask questions just because I know someone will ask me that question. I want to be prepared for the answer. Not like I'm that curious, but someone will ask me a question about some specific brand or blend of Vitola or tobacco. I ask those people just to be prepared. I don't like to say, "Oh, I don't know." I mean, this for me, it's weird. My tie is on outside, but yeah, I have time to fix it. It's fine. Okay, I want to talk about the main topic today. I want to talk about two other websites where they're releasing their top 25s, and there are two big brands, big medias where they're quite popular. I sometimes refer to their website for information, so that's why I want to mention them. Um, as you all know, this top 25 is ongoing topic. There will be an episode next week for top 25, and there will be one more, maybe or two more after that. I'm waiting a few more releases, and then we're going to talk about, of course, the overall stuff. The first site I want to talk about, this is Cigar Coop. Cigar Coop and William Cooper been in the industry for many years. This is one of the first proper bloggers and people writing about cigars. I don't know if you guys follow him. He's something like Half Rule, a little bit different. He usually posts the same information, the same news. He smokes cigars in a little bit different way. His reviews a little bit different. He always says the cigar box worthy, cigar worthy. Maybe don't buy it. He tell interesting stories. Sometimes he's actually before Half Rule telling the news and stories. Not always, but sometimes. He released top 30, which started a month ago. He released basically every day a cigar, so it takes ages for him to release the best cigars he smoked. It's an interesting ranking. I'm not gonna go through all 30 because that will take hours. What I wanna mention, I wanna mention a few cigars in his list, and I will explain, of course, why. He have further down in his list number 28, Plasencia Etefal. So Etefal, it's an actually 2 years old release. So it's a very interesting to see someone media, especially media, smoking and reviewing Etefal or cigar like that, because Etefal, again, this was released for the World Cup in Qatar, which was last year, 2 years ago, and smoking something like that, reviewing that kind of cigar, it's a very unusual, call it that way. So I think it's positive when people smoke stuff like that even later after the release, so you can actually feel how the cigar with a little bit of age. I mean, it's not much of age; it's a year or two, but still on it. Another cigar he mentioned, and I mean, I'm looking at the list. I mean, there's a Fuentes, there's a Liga Privadas, there's a Pledge, and few Fuentes actually. He have hired the Bull as his number 15. I have it as my 13, I believe. So that means I'm not wrong. That is a really good cigar. He have the Warhead 10 by Espinosa on 13, which has been mentioned from few other websites, and it looks like this is one of the best cigars this year at all. He had some tatuajes, he had some Aladinos and stuff like that. So, but one cigar I want to talk about before I move to the next one. Again, I'm not going to talk about everyone. His number one is Perdomo 30th Anniversary Maduro Epicure, which is, I haven't smoked this one specifically. In the 30th anniversary, I smoked the Sun-Grown, but usually Perdomo always release 10, 20, or 30 in three different shapes, Connecticut, Maduro, and Sun-Grown. But Coop, he actually have all three 30th anniversaries in his top 30. He have number 22, the Sun-Grown, which for me is the best one and the only one I smoke. He have the Connecticut as number 7, and number 1 is the Maduro. I mean, this is a little bit, I don't know, weird. Adding same line, different shade of the cigars in the same ranking. So for him, all those three are like probably the best line ever released this year combined. I mean, you have literally the whole Natural, Maduro, and Connecticut in the ranking. I know he's been heavily promoted Perdomo. He have a massive Perdomo banner behind his head when he do the podcast. So maybe he's been more of a influenced by that. Maybe he's been paid from that. Do I agree with that? I mean, if for him is the best cigar, it's fine. But even some people say when advertisement pays, you need to be you need to add them. And there was an interesting comment: how much the sponsors influence the ranking? I mean, probably a lot. I haven't been sponsored from anyone. Um, no one. I mean, who's gonna pay me to smoke the cigars? I'll smoke them anyway for free. So maybe people are not always happy when they ask for feedback from a cigars they smoke. I'm honest and I always say yes, no, whatever rankings I put in there. I know some people are not happy. I've heard comments in different medias, different friends where some brands was like, "Oh, we sent him few cigars. He didn't rate them well." Well, I mean, if it's not a good cigar for me, don't send it. Don't. I won't rate them, and I don't ask anyone to send me free cigars. I never ask for cigar. I'm that kind of guy. Even people like Usman, he was like, "Oh, let's ask this brand. You know him. Let's ask him for a few cigars, and we'll do reviews." So I'm like, I don't ask for cigars. I got plenty behind me. Yeah, I want to smoke some fancy, some expensive cigars. I want to try some, uh, you know, hype cigars or anything, but I'll never ask for it. So, yeah, I mean, that's me. Dexter says Perdomo always have a top-notch construction. I agree with you. Perdomo usually is one of the best constructed cigars. I smoke lots of Perdomo on a blind taste, and they always highly rated for me. I've been to the factory. I've seen the whole process. I know Nick Perdomo very well. I have even some interesting cigars made for me from him, which I'm going to talk maybe one day when I smoke some of them. But is it the best brand? I say Perdomo need to be in the top rankings for sure. I'm surprised how Perdomo is not being top 25 cigar aficionado #1 so far. I mean, he released really nice cigars. He's been #1 in Cigar Journal. He's been #1 in Coop. He's been #1, I think #3 in Half Wheel. In most of the media, he's been in the top rankings. Never been in cigar aficionado. Maybe he doesn't pay enough. I don't know. But for sure, one of the brands where usually don't go wrong. My only issue with Perdomo is the sizes. They're all chunky. The Epicure, the Toro he do is 6x54. He do 6x60. Even the Robusto is longer, like I think it's 5.5 or 50 or something. But no Lonsdales, no Lanceros, no stuff like that. I mean, I'm missing those ones. No, I think he did double Coronas in some point. I'm not sure if he's still doing it. I think he did Churchill on the Barrel Age 12. But that will be discontinued anyway soon, so it won't make any more than 12s. Someone love the sizes. Hey, I mean, nothing wrong again. If you like 54 Robusto, smoke 54 Robusto. I'm nothing against. It's just me personal. I prefer more slimmer and longer cigars. That's my usual. Not like I don't smoke 16 gauge. I smoked 16 gauge last night with Usman on the live. But it's not something I would enjoy. I would never rate 16 gauge same as a Lancero if they taste the same. I don't know what need to happen 16 gauge to be way better than the Lancero from the same line. I don't believe that exists. It might be just me. But yeah, I get it. Lancero is not for everyone. Lancero is the most complicated Vitola in my opinion, the most complex one, and the hardest to smoke. Not everyone can smoke Lancero. It's not like litting and puffing and puffing and puffing. No, you need to slow down. I need to basically keep the cigar barely lit. If you keep in too puff, if you puff in too strong or too fast, either too strong might become a bitter. If you slow down too much, you're gonna need to relight it, which is not enjoyable. And for me, Lancero is 2 hour smoke. I know most of the people probably smoke Lancero for less than an hour. It's not right for me. Don't smoke Lancero if you do that. Well, the 175th and 180th H. Chapman by AJ, someone mentioned. At one point I'll probably try it. I think I've tried the 175. Not recently, but I usually like the AJ Fernandez versions of the Monte Cristo and Chipmunk. I don't like the other ones. So probably they will be good. Everyone rating quite high the 180th anniversary, so probably be good. Even Coop, I think he put some of those there. Let me have a look. No, he put some Monte Cristos and stuff. That's fine. Okay, we'll move away from Coop. We're going to something more interesting, probably, and this is Cigar Dojo. Cigar Dojo. I'm still a fan of the guys. They're father and son who, from a part-time job and doing fun on the podcast, actually become their full-time job, and they now work one of the more interesting media. They actually create their own social media. If you guys not familiar with Cigar Dojo, you can download the app Cigar Dojo, and it's a social media. It's like a Facebook with cigars. You can post. There's a groups. There's a different talks about different cigars. Every time you post cigar, you gain some points and you get some ranks. Uh, like a dojo ranks. You got belts, different color rankings, black belt, first, second degree, third degree, and stuff like that. The more you post, the bigger rank you get. I got few challenge coins from those guys. I mean, I love their stuff. Also, for someone like them who not been in the industry that many years, they have collaborations with lots of different brands. They do exclusive cigars for the dojo with Roma Craft, with Alec Bradley. Caldwell did that one with Lost and Found. Uh, Steve Saka, Espinoza. I can carry on probably. There are tens of different brands who did collaboration with the dojo, and they're all interesting, all very different cigars. Not all of them are, of course, 10 out of 10, but the fact they actually do stuff like that, it's really nice. And I'm always interested in their top 20. They do top 20, but also they give extra awards to different brands. And as far as I know, I don't think lots of people advertise in there, or at least they don't show it that much. So I don't think they're that biased on the advertising. And I like the other products. So the other awards, I'm gonna start with that one. So they release few awards like Person of the Year. I mean, Person of the Year is someone from the industry. So this year it's a lady called Sandy Cobus. She's from basically El Titan de Bronze. So she's a roller, etc., torcedor. It's lots of different stuff, but they actually show people who show to the mass public some of the people who are behind the scene, not that faces of the companies always everyone know and see. Another award they reveal, it's under the radar cigar of the year, so it's something usually not very mainstream, more of a boutique one, fun release, etc., limited sometimes. So this year they release El Mago Solstice. I haven't smoked the cigar. I don't know much about cigar, but I read when they release it, and I want to try them, of course. So they're Nicaraguan made cigar, limited edition, only 14,000 cigars, so it's quite a small one. But they always throw out some very unique releases and boutiques. So they release in value price cigar packaging as well. So the packaging go to JR Revival 70. That's the specially exclusive cigar for the JR retails in the US. I haven't smoked this one, of course. It's not easy to find that. The packaging look very nice. The band look nice. The boxes are funky, very orangey, like an old school car from the 70s. Maybe that's what they were looking, the Revival 70s. Yeah, if you want to Google it, just Google it, and it's really nice. They have a award for the value price cigar, and the best value price cigar is the Coffin Nails from Black Label, which is phenomenal cigar. I've smoked a few of those. I've discussed it with lots of people, and usually when you say Black Label, they're slightly pricey cigars. I mean, they're not like $40. They're $15, $17. Some of them are like $10, $12. The Coffin Nail, it's an actually $7.50 for a cigar, which is 5x40 Petit Couron. I mean, it's a relatively small cigar. I mean, this for me is an hour smoke, but $7.50 for an hour smoke made from Black Label. Come on, you can't go wrong with that. And the cigar is actually in a very interesting packaging, like a cigarette box. But yeah, if you can find those, I would highly recommend them. They're a little bit stronger, maybe not for everyone, but that's the Black Label. And also they release overall award for brand of the year. Brand of the year, this is Uvea Negra. Only Uvea Negra brands, that's what they call them. So there's the Factory Uvea Negra, which making all the Black Label, Black Works, Dissident, Emilio, and that stuff. I mean, it's not a surprise. It's one of my favorite brand probably. I love those guys, and I'm happy when they receive an achievements like that. You know, some very very interesting media pay give them more attention than again they deserve it fully. So, um, but in the top 20, few cigars I want to mention again. So it's again not going to talk about every single one, but a few other stuff I want to mention. What we have in there, we have. Bunch of black labels. There's a Roman Craft, there's a Espinosa. There's a cigar which is a really nice. That's Davidoff Maduro. It was in my top 25. They put it there out there. I happily agree with them. It's one of the best cigars I smoked last year. It's yeah, it wasn't in my top. It was in my top 25. No, it was just out of my top 25. But it's a good cigar. I mentioned it. Aladino Cameron Reserva. I smoke this cigar, unfortunately, because of the Fuma Noche. I prefer the Fuma Noche. I would happily put that in my top 25 as well. I smoked one a few days ago as well. It's a good cigar. They have the Quesada 58, which was in a bunch of other rankings. They have Adventura, they have Warped, Aganorsa. There's another Davidoff, the Gran Cru Diadema, which was the last limited release last year. I have not smoked this cigar yet. I just cannot. Not that crazy paying the money they ask for it. They have from their number 5 is their Black Label Orthodox, the best cigar for me last year. Again, when I see someone rate that cigar, of course I need to talk about it. And their top 3, as I mentioned, is the Davidoff Grand Cru Diadema Finis on number 3. The number 2 is the HF 180th. Someone already mentioned it in the chat and we'll talk about it. Number 1 is the Plasencia Nestor 75. So, this is a cigar, which I don't know if you all know about it. It's a cigar which most of us will not be able to smoke. Unless you have very deep connections. Nestor 75 was a cigar which will never be released for sale. This was a gift from the Plasencia's family for all the retailers which they're friends, they're close to them, all the medias. It was just given. I've seen the cigar. I've been promised a cigar, but maybe one day I'll have it. I haven't smoked it. I've seen it. It's a Churchill cigar. Everyone who smoked it says it's something exceptional. It's something Plasencia haven't released anything like that yet. Maybe is that true? Who knows? But Cigar Dojo smoked it and says that's the best cigar they've smoked this year. Everything is undisclosed there, of course. It's only 7,000 cigars. No price because it's not for sale. Which is actually bring me to another interesting point here. So another media, like the another cigar media like Half Wheel, I think 2018 or 19, they did something similar. So they put as a number 1 cigar called Joya de Nicaragua Diplomatic Exclusive or something like that. I might be wrong with the name. I think that was the right name. This was a cigar which was never up for release. It was given to them on a party, on an event where Joya was a main manufacturer. They were giving those cigars exclusively for that event, and that used to be their cigar, which they were given to all the diplomats and all the special people. It was like basically Trinidad in Cuba, all the Cohibas back in the time, a cigar made only for the diplomats or the politics or that kind of stuff. So Joya have the same cigar, that diplomatic edition, and Kaufman managed to get a cigar, a few of those, smoked them, and they put it as a number 1 in that year. And everyone who was fan of Kaufman, who liked them, believed them, started ringing Joya and asking about this cigar. And Joya I mean, I know the story personally from Juan, so that's why I'm telling you with all the details. And Hoya was like, we don't make this cigar. I mean, we have like 50 boxes a year just for the special occasions. It's no band or anything. It's just cigar made for special occasions. And then more and more people keep calling, and Hoya decide, uh, if there's so much interest on that cigar, let's release it. It take them a year to produce enough amount to release it, because I mean this was a blend which doesn't figure in a mass production. So they need to source the tobacco, they need to create the, maybe tweak the blend a little bit. I don't know if that was the original blend. And they released a cigar called Numero Uno, which for me it's an outstanding cigar. So you've seen probably this stand here, mold. This mold here, you can't see it now, but it's heavy. I'm not going to lift it. This mold is actually mold for Numero Uno. I have it from Hoya de Nicaragua factory. This was one of the heaviest presents I managed to bring back from the factory. And it's exact mold for the Numero Uno. One day when I smoke a Numero Uno, maybe I'll make a video with the mold, how the Numero Uno fit in there with the pigtail and everything. But it's one of the best Hoya de Nicaragua cigars ever made, in my opinion. And that was the story behind. So I'm thinking now, Cigar Dojo is big enough media, not as such as a Halfu, but close. Do you think, guys, they Plasencias will receive as well lots of calls and asking for this cigar, and Plasencia maybe in the next I don't know, year or two, 5 years, they decide to release the blend and pull it out like a regular production. I know Plasencia is coming with a brand new regular production in a few months. I cannot say more, but there will be new Alma. I know the name only. I haven't seen anything else. I'm going to have exclusivity to talk about that around May. I'm going to have Rodrigo from Plasencia, my guest in Leeds, in my lounge. We already talked about the cigar. I don't know much about it, of course. This is the only thing I know, the name. It's another Alma. But yeah, we're going to talk about when it's close to the date. So that was my point on the Cigar Dojo. Another interesting media, if you guys like to learn and listen more, they do phenomenal podcasts. They talk about lots of different stuff. It's one of those people who in America who actually have fun. Again, they have their own social media. If you haven't been there, I would advise you just go in the download the app. You're gonna spend hours. I mean, at the beginning when I was hooked to that one, I was more often there than actually other social medias. It was so fun for me, but I just don't have that free time nowadays. I'm busy with other stuff, and if you're there, you need to actually have more time to interact with people, discuss and talk about different stuff. Okay, there's an interesting comment. Someone wants to see show of comparables. If you like this X cigar at 60 pounds, try this Y brand at 20, like an Aldi style show. That's a very interesting one, actually. You know what? Let's do that thing. I mean, how many people watching? 10, 12, maybe some more will watch tomorrow. Send me suggestions of 60, 70 pound cigars or dollars, which you want me to talk about. Maybe avoid the latest releases from like last few months, because I probably haven't smoked them. But if it's like something from last year before, and want me seeing talking about it, maybe compare it with something which is $20 or 20 pounds, I can try to do that. Send me what's interesting, because I can mention some cigars probably most of the people haven't smoked them, haven't seen them. It's not going to be much of a point to do that. But even if you're curious, if you've seen someone hyping specific cigar which is very expensive, throw it out there. Send me a text. Even in the message here or Instagram. You know where to reach me. Instagram is usually when I'm more active. Send me a message on Instagram, and I will create a list with 10 cigars, and I'm going to do a special episode where we're going to talk about this 10 cigars, and I'm going to offer you suggestions in my point of view, what you can smoke for $20 or pounds, which is close to that. Yep, someone been talking about numero uno. I mean, it's a really good cigar. Okay, someone start working on the list again. Don't send me 50 cigars list. Send me a few suggestions, maybe a few people. When I have like 7, 8, 10. I mean, let's keep it to 10. I'll have 10. I will make sure I'll dig in my stuff. Maybe if I have the cigars, I can maybe show them or whatever. And I will create you suggestions, and I will explain why I'm thinking this will be a good suggestion. And yeah. No, I mean there are not only the Cubans in UK. There's lots of Davidoffs. There's a Fuente. There's a Padrons. There's a Merafel. I mean Cubans, of course. But I can try to suggest something non-Cuban for a Cuban. That won't be much fair, but I can try. If someone wants to smoke Cubanesque style plus cigar, but not Cuban. I mean, I don't like that much the terminology Cubanesque. You know, when somebody say, "Oh, this is the most Cubanesque cigar I smoke," Cubanesque what? I mean, Cuba have like 7 brands, 29 brands. They all should taste differently. I mean, for me, some of them taste the same, but it's another question. But surely they have few different profiles there. And if someone says it's the most Cuban in the world, they all Cuban. They don't taste the same. Some of the Cubans are completely different from the others. So when you say Cubanesque, so what do you mean? Cubanesque as a Partagas, or Cubanesque as a Hoyo, or Cubanesque as a Monte Cristo? I mean, okay, someone mentioned, you already guys started throwing names. Plasencia Alma Fuerte Salmon. Plasencia Alma Fuerte Salmon is under $40, 40 pounds. Maybe in the US is about $30. I haven't checked. I mean, that's not even too close to that 60. Comparison to the Salomon, that would be a. I can throw a few names straight away without me thinking. But also the size. Not many people do Salomon. If you want that kind of size, maybe K by Karan Maduro. It's close enough. And K by Karan Maduro Salomon, I believe, is about 25 pounds at the moment, 27 pounds, which is 10 pounds cheaper. It's not massive difference, but it's 10 pounds. So, yeah, I mean, someone mentioned 6 to 1. I mean, there's no other hexagonal cigar. Maybe if you want 6 by 60s, Plasencias are very reasonable priced cigars in UK, to be honest. It's one of those brands where in the States they're not cheap, but in UK they're actually not expensive. 6 to is around 40 pounds. Not lots of cigars 6 by 60 in UK will be less than 30, 40 pounds just because of the weight. And to compare that kind of stuff, maybe if you cap the size to a Robusto or something, will be easier. But you want me to knock down, I don't know, half of the price on the Plasencia? It won't be easy. Even if you take the cheapest 6 by 60 cigar in UK, I believe this is Aladino Corojo, which is 6.5 by 60, so it's even bigger. That's around 30, I think 32 pounds at the moment, which is one of the cheapest 6 by 60s in UK. So that's 6-7 pounds cheaper than what you asked me to knock down. I don't think that's an interesting one. That would be actually something I can do. Not a lot of people can. You want 5, 6, 10 pounds cheaper cigar. Maybe change the size, change the region. You can do it. But if you want me to knock down 60 and above, that would be easier. But below 60, below 50, it won't be easy. Honestly, it will be a challenge. I need to dig, especially into some of the boutique stuff where you cannot find them in many shops, and they're so rare in boutiques. Someone thinking in the the Salomon in reverse. You want an expensive version of the Salomon? Okay, that would be a fun. I mean, not a lot of people do Salomon, guys. It's one of those sizes where I don't know. It's tell me expensive Salomon, because I cannot think of my name for a Salomon which is expensive except the Cuban Partagas, Salomones in Cuaba, but they're not even close. as a strength and everything to Placencia. So that would be a very, very interesting challenge. But okay, I'll give you a task, guys. Send me some suggestions. What do you want to see in equivalents? I prefer if you can send me an expensive cigar so I can think of cheaper version. Because send me a cheaper cigar to think of more expensive. I don't know if that. I mean, we don't try to buy expensive cigars. The human nature is to try to knock down some money. You know, once the cheaper the bargain, the I can call it in my language, but it's a weird word. So you want that saving, you know, the promo, the offer, the discontinued, the reduced price. Um, Please send me stuff. I will think about, and maybe we'll do that episode after I finish with all the top 25s. So yeah, there's a next week. So the two medias I'm waiting before I conclude all the top 25s. I'm waiting the half wheel overall top 25 rankings with all the cigars. They're gonna release them next week. I think Monday. I might not. I don't know what time they release, and if they release them on lunchtime, I will have plenty of time to read a little bit and add them here. And let's put that as a schedule. I don't want to promise yet because I'm not sure what time Halfway will release their conclusions thing. And also the cigar journal. This is my media, you know, where I'm very active. I want to see what they're going to release as top 25. And I want to discuss that because some of the cigars I actually was involved in their scoring. Someone wants to hear what's my native tongue. Well, the word I want to use is called Dalavera. So, yeah, I mean, if there's a Bulgarian guy here, he will know what I'm talking about. Dalavera is that thing basically where you see something which costs £20, but you want to find it for 10. You know, you always try to maybe exchange something, try to knock down, negotiate, whatever, but you want to be, you know, if you take that £20 item or cigar on £10, you are the biggest hustler. And we are born that way. I mean, that's now a nature in the Balkans. We need to knock down the money, the price. We don't want to pay the full price. We always want to find this guy in the factory who have a cousin who maybe can get some boxes out, not only for cigars, I mean for everything. You know, if you can find cheap fuel, I mean, yeah, Polish guy, same thing. You know, you want to find that guy who drive the lorry, who go to the petrol station, get some fuel, and then sell it to you half of the price. This is the human nature. We can't change that. Right, folks. We have a little laugh at the end. It's been a great evening as usual. I talked so much tonight. I didn't even finish half of the cigar, so I'm going to finish my cigar now. In the meantime, guys, yeah, keep watching, be posted. Sunday, I'll probably have a live with Usman if you want to join and have a chat with us and just narrow down, not narrow down. Why narrow down? Just knock down a few jokes with us and grill Usman on the Cuban cigars, because we literally last night we have such a crazy conversation on the Cubans and non-Cubans. It's just a casual chitty-chatty conversation. Yeah, please join my Instagram, his Instagram, doesn't matter. In the meantime, smoke your cigars. Weather is nice. Next week will be sunny in UK. A little bit chilly, but there's nothing wrong with the cold. It's a fresh air at the end of the day. Yeah, smoke your cigars. Don't leave them too long. Someone else will do. Thanks for everyone who watch, listen. Thanks for everyone who gonna listen actually in the next few days on the driving when he drive or when he was doing something else. And yeah, be active. Send me questions. Send me suggestions. I'm very happy to talk about it. And I'll see you hopefully next week, Monday, same time, same channel, The Late Smoke. We're gonna talk more about top 25s. There's still more stuff to do. I hope I didn't get bored with those top 25s, but I mean, this is what everyone's talking about in this moment. So, see you next week, guys.